we were working on this project that we called assistive perception. But it wasn't necessarily for people who have problems with perception. It was also for people who are visually impaired, but it doesn't have to be. The idea is that we're not perfect at doing tasks, right? We're suboptimal, we're human, we're fallible. So we don't figure out the best way to do them. And if you want robots to assist, they can sort of override what you're doing, but then you're not doing it yourself. You're not the one actually doing the thing. So it's a different way for a robot to assist. Well, what we started thinking about is, why are you not optimal? And there's many different reasons. But instead of kind of going down the list of 100 different possible cognitive biases that people have, and you're like, well, they react this way and that way and that way, we thought there might be some pretty fundamental reason why people are suboptimal. And that's that perhaps they have the wrong beliefs about the world. That if the robot knows how the world works, the robot knows what's there, what the state of everything is. And so to it, it's very obvious what the optimal thing to do is. But if you're a human and you're trying to estimate where things are and trying to estimate how things work as you act on the world, you might not have perfect estimates of all of this. And that's maybe why you don't do the correct thing in part. And so one kind of cool assistance thing was, can I, in a sense, modify the observations, what the person sees, so that when it's processed suboptimally by our perception system, which is full of biases, right? It's full of optical illusions are a thing because we have biases in our perceptual system. Like we see things in a different way because our brain kind of has these shortcuts and cheats. Can I kind of show you something else about the world? Maybe like something is, I actually put it closer than it actually is to compensate for the fact that if I just show you where it is, you're going to estimate it as being further. Can I sort of kind of lie to you about what the world looks like, so that when you try to estimate where everything is and then make a decision of how to act, you actually end up with the right estimate that is as close as possible to the ground truth. And so, we did this with piloting this silly kind of landing system, but it turned out that when people pilot an aircraft like this, they're not doing a good job at estimating the tilt. So they seem to be underestimating the tilt. Now, we didn't know this, but here's how we kind of hypothesized that that's what's happening. We had a robot, an AI system that kind of re-renders for them what the scene looks like. And we had it learn to render things in a way that gets the person to estimate the correct thing and then take the correct action. And what it learned to do is it learned to exaggerate the tilt of the craft. And then people, when they saw this exaggerated tilt, didn't take the wrong action, didn't take the action corresponding to the exaggerated tilt. They actually took the action corresponding to the correct tilt. So the robot is kind of saying, okay, well, I know you're going to perceive this in a different way because you're just a human and you estimate things in fallible ways. So let me kind of show it to you such that when you see it, you're going to kind of have the right belief about what it is and then be able to act in the correct way. So that's it's a weird kind of assistance, but it's an assistance where it's again, just kind of trying to compensate for the fact that we're suboptimal and we're still doing all the things, but we're now doing them correctly because we get a little bit of an aid in, how the world works or where stuff is or whatever.
That's so interesting because take that to the next level. We'd all be wearing glasses or electronic contact lenses. Yeah. And it would essentially, it's like enhance function, but not enhance just making something sharper, but enhance to help us react
modifying where it appears to be or to help us react properly to it. And it's janky because it's lying to people about where stuff is. But the idea is that by showing you these distorted observations, your actual belief, your actual estimate of where, what you think the world looks like is actually more accurate as opposed to less accurate.